Hey, good Monday afternoon. Thanks for joining me on the Monday afternoon noon forecast. Thanks for joining Hail Trace. Man, was it a busy weekend? Did everyone else feel like it was just warning after warning after warning this weekend? We ended up here at Hail Trace with 4 3-star hailstorms and 2 4-star hailstorms. I mean, our mapping Mets were very, very busy this weekend and still busy right now. We have storms ongoing across Atlanta right now, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But that risk does shift to the East Coast today, right before returning to the plains tomorrow. So we are expecting storms across the plains tomorrow, including places like Chicago, Omaha, Oklahoma City, Kansas City, and Dallas. So we'll talk about that in just a few minutes, but I want to get to those storms that we saw this weekend. So one of those first most impressive storms were those baseball-sized hailstones that were coming out of Mustang, Oklahoma, just to the southwest of Oklahoma City. We had hail sizes up to 2.5 inches. 85,000 homes impacted here. Again, that was from Mustang to Chickasha to Duncan to Purcell, just outside of Oklahoma City. So we go Mustang, Chickasha, Duncan, and Purcell right over here. And so it was definitely a very, very big event across the city, especially on the western side of the city. Those hailstones stopped falling right around the Bethany area. Then on Sunday, that was really a big day for storms across the U.S. Taking you down to Dallas first, Fort Worth got hit, and then just a few hours later, just to the south of Tyler, Texas, also seeing those large stones. We saw up to baseball-sized hail once again, 2.5 inches in size. Once again, right around 80,000 homes impacted. Now taking you out to the east, just to the south of St. Louis, man, I felt like whenever we were live yesterday, we kept saying southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, over and over and over and over, and that is exactly what you see here from just swath after swath from those hailstorms producing some pretty large hail here. We got up to softball-sized hail, 4 inches in size, holy moly. And we actually have some pictures of some really large hail from northern Arkansas on our Facebook page if you're interested in this. But again, over 100,000 homes impacted here. That was a 4-star event. Your next one, a 3-star event here, just to the south of St. Louis. So here's southern Missouri on the opposite side. So we just showed you northern Arkansas. Now we're showing you southern Missouri. 2.5 inch size hailstones here. Almost another 100,000 people or homes, buildings impacted. Does that day say, did you say May 30th? You caught me. May 30th is what that date says. Yes, it was March 30th. It wasn't May 30th. That hasn't happened yet. Good catch there. All right, let's move on to what we saw just to the east. Okay, we're going into southern Illinois here, just to the east of St. Louis here. You can see that we saw up to about golf ball size hail in this area, from Columbia to Centralia to Terre Haute, am I saying that correctly? We were actually live during this event, and we were seeing those storms come through this area, and we were like, there's got to be some decent hail in there. I think this is our last one. Maybe we have 2 more. 2.5 inch size hail anywhere from Jackson to Nolensville, Tennessee. This is just to the south and west of Nashville, so right in the center of Tennessee right here. And do we have one more event? I've lost count at this point. That was it. Okay, so that totaled 2 4-star storms and 4 3-star storms. I think that's correct for the weekend. I mean, we were busy. That's all we have to say. We were busy here. You're probably busy today out there tarping roofs, seeing what the impacts were. Here's a look at your 24-hour storm reports. We have all of that high wind up to the north and then that large hail down to the south. Again, southern Illinois, southern Missouri, northern Arkansas here, and then even some hail reports into Fort Worth and eastern Texas, which is very, very similar to what we expected to happen here. I mean, if I outlined an area, it was right in here for that large hail. Overnight, last night into early this morning, those storms continued, and we saw them start to stretch down to the south into the northern portion of Mississippi, into Alabama, and now we have storms in Georgia. I do want to get to your current radar talking about this tornado warning Just outside of Atlanta, we do have a tornado warning in effect right now. You can see that highlighted in this red box. This came from the south side of Atlanta all the way now on the southeast side of the city, just outside of Atlanta proper. I would still consider this the metro right here. If you know anyone just outside of Athens, they need to make sure that they are preparing in case this storm continues to withstand its strength. I'm not quite sure I had the right wording there. Either way, if it is still tornado warned as it heads into Athens, you need to make sure that you are prepared and taking cover. We've got another tornado warning down in the southern side of Alabama as well, and then we've got a big severe thunderstorm warning down in the panhandle of Florida. So this is a long line of storms. You can't see all of it here, but this is a long line of storms that stretches all the way up from the far western side of North Carolina through Georgia, through the southern side of Alabama, into Florida. So that's what we're dealing with today. Those storms, once again, firing back up, back to the west. Temperatures are cooler. Whenever I walked outside today, I made the mistake of not grabbing a jacket. Definitely should have grabbed a jacket. I'm sure you guys are also feeling that in places like St. Louis, Chicago, Minneapolis. You definitely need a jacket for today. A little bit warmer out to the east, but that will change as that front moves through tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, that's our next chance for storms. Look at where we have the heat returning to tomorrow. Okay, we talk about this all the time. What do you need for storm development? Heat. All right, we've got it. Where's the warmest, above average place across the country? Right through the plains. So where are we going to see storms tomorrow? Right through the plains. We have another system moving in. We've got that moisture returning to this area as well, and that is going to help us to bring in storms tomorrow. And you can kind of see, do you see this green starting to pull up through the plains tomorrow? That's going to help storms to return to this area. So we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes, but I want to get to your risk today, and then we'll go out to the plains. We'll talk about tomorrow. That is not your only risk on the forecast here. We have another chance for storms on Wednesday, and even another one on Thursday. So our very busy weekend turns into a very busy work week, and we'll talk about that. But let's break it down day by day. Today, we have the storms out of Atlanta right now, storms all the way down into the Florida Panhandle here. But we could see severe weather, especially later on this afternoon and evening, farther up the East Coast to the north here. You can see some of those storms coming through right now, and over the next few hours, you're going to see more storms coming through the northern side of the East Coast as we head into the late night hours tonight, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Finally, by overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, we're severe clear for now. Tomorrow, we have another chance for storms. Early morning showers are possible here. However, I think what we need to watch for will be the afternoon storms that will start right around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Once again, very similar to what we saw on Friday, we'll wait and wait and wait for these storms to fire. But once it's on, and then it'll be like warning after warning after warning, anywhere from Omaha all the way to KC, Wichita, Oklahoma City, and even Dallas getting in on the action there. So again, that's tomorrow. Let's go back to today. We'll start today, and then we'll break down tomorrow a little bit more. Golf ball size hail is possible today. Now, I think this will be very isolated. It won't be like yesterday where we saw lots of reports of golf ball size hail. Today, I think that this will be very rare. What we will most likely see today is that quarter size and smaller. You can see the best areas for that larger hail will be anywhere from Georgia all the way off to the Carolinas and into the Florida Panhandle. Other than that, you go farther up to the north, you're probably not getting a ton of hail up here. And if you're getting a lot of hail, it's small. It's like that pea, dime-sized hail, right? So let's actually get to the hail forecast. Here you go. Again, the largest hail sizes anywhere from Tallahassee to Columbia. The storms that are coming out of Atlanta right now could produce some hail anywhere from the size of a golf ball to smaller as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. You go farther up to the north, is hail possible? Sure. Is it going to be smaller? Yes. And there's your risk levels there. I think we've got wind forecast next. There you go. Yes, there's your wind forecast. High wind expected today and your tornado risk as well. So I think that high wind will be anywhere from 65 to 70 miles an hour. And there's your tornado risk in the area that we have tornado warnings going on right now, right in the central portion of Georgia, all the way down to the panhandle of Florida. but that will continue as these storms track into South Carolina, even North Carolina, the Virginias, all the way up the East Coast. We could see some of that tornado risk. It's low. Some isolated tornadoes are possible there. Carl Kraft on Facebook asking, any hail in Atlanta? I don't know of any reports right now. However, I do know that we have that risk today. I haven't seen any reports coming in, but that doesn't mean that they're not out there. That's actually, you know what I'll do? After this forecast ends, I'll go look that up for you. I really haven't taken a look at radars because I was focused on the forecast, but I'll look that up for you and I'll make sure that I comment on your Facebook comment and I'll get you that information. But let's move on. Let's move on to what we're expecting for today, kind of hour by hour. What are we expecting here? We'll start up to the north, then we'll move down to the south. 3:30 this afternoon, storms moving through the Virginias here and all the way up the East Coast, even places like New York, Boston, Baltimore, all of those places getting storms today. The farther south that you go, we are seeing better chances for strong to severe storms, and then this will finally clear out as we head into the overnight hours tonight and early tomorrow morning. Great timing. Tim is asking on Facebook, any hail or storms in the Panhandle of Florida? Yes, going on right now. You actually have a severe thunderstorm warning in the Florida Panhandle, and this will continue to track to the east as we head into the afternoon hours. 2 o'clock right in the central portion of the Panhandle, moving to the east into places like Jacksonville by the evening hours tonight. You can see that we're finally becoming severe clear into the late night hours tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So that finally brings us to tomorrow. And I know a lot of people are also on here for places like the Plains, Omaha, Wichita, KC, Oklahoma City. These are cities that we were just talking about on Saturday. Saturday, we got storms in just the same place. So let's talk about that timing here. You could have some early morning showers. These are going to be light showers, not terribly impactful to your day. Maybe a very light rain for your morning commute or your lunchtime hours. But by about 3 o'clock, that's whenever I want you to watch for those severe storms to be popping up in the central portion of Nebraska and central side of Kansas. So again, I said this earlier, it's going to be the waiting game. You're going to have to practice some patience because I guarantee you we'll get a few comments of, are these storms going to even fire? Now, if they fire, it's going to be one after the other, after the other, after the other. Could they be capped? It's possible. Not going to rule that out. But I think that once they fire, we're really going to see this continue into the late night hours on Tuesday night, into Wednesday morning. We're going to see this stretch anywhere from Omaha down to KC, into Wichita, slowly unzipping into Oklahoma City, and even into Dallas by early Wednesday morning. So this could be waking you up through the overnight hours. Make sure that you prepare before you go to bed on Tuesday night for those storms that could be hitting by early Wednesday morning. And again, I feel like I've said this so many times now, it doesn't stop there. We have another risk that continues during the day on Wednesday in a very similar spot to what we saw on Sunday. So remember that risk yesterday? Basically just copy paste that for Wednesday, because that's what we're seeing once again for the middle of the work week. And I'll show you that risk. If you can't remember it, I'll show it to you. So here's what we have tomorrow. Those storms once again firing after 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon hours. You're going to see storms with the best chances for large hail from Kansas City to Oklahoma City to Dallas. Now, I will tell you these storms will be through the overnight hours, early morning on Wednesday for Oklahoma City and Dallas. The hail model in this area from like Stillwater south looks very impressive. Now the storm chance will be very isolated. That's kind of how it works sometimes, right? You're going to get an isolated storm. Not everyone getting storms here, but whoever does get storms in this area, I think has a really good chance to get those larger hail sizes. Like I'm very close to pulling us up to that baseball size hail in this area on Tuesday, basically Wednesday morning, okay? The farther north that you go, the smaller those hail sizes are, so I'm keeping us in that $0.50 to golf ball size hail through Omaha and KC. I don't see that increasing at all in size. In Chicago, probably on the lower side, quarter size or smaller. So again, that max forecasted hail size, do I think that tennis ball, baseball size hail is possible on Tuesday? Yeah, I do. I think that that'll be possible anywhere from Stillwater to the south. But we'll have to see if it hits anything or if it's out in, the middle of, Oklahoma where there's not a ton of people out there. There's not a big population. We'll have to see. Now, that tornado risk is also on the board, so this is very important to pay attention to because, of course, we want to be aware of this dangerous risk here. It's a level 2 on a scale of 5, so we're in that moderate category right here. And that extends anywhere from Kansas City, including Joplin, Missouri, including Wichita, including Tulsa, including Oklahoma City, and going just into the northern portion of Texas, including Wichita Falls in that as well. So a lot of people impacted by those potential tornadoes. We could see several on, again, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And again, I told you we have another risk on Wednesday. Check that out. Another chance for those strong tornadoes expected on Wednesday. We could see some hail in this area as well. Chicago, I told you that Tuesday night may not be your time for hail. However, could you see that on Wednesday? It's definitely possible. You are right in the middle of that level 3 risk on Wednesday. St. Louis, Memphis, Cincinnati, all included in that level 3 risk as well. So you can see that hatched area is where we're expecting the strongest storms. By Thursday, I know this is a lot of information, so you can always go back and rewatch this if you miss anything here. We do have another risk on Thursday, and that stretches anywhere from Dallas all the way up to Pennsylvania. So a lot of people included in this risk here. Again, Thursday, late morning into the afternoon and evening hours here is whenever we're expecting those storms. So I think the big question here is how long does this active weather stay in play? How long does this activity just go day after day after day? Well, we can look at upper air models, and that can give us a lot of information here. What we're watching for are these troughs coming in. We've got a low pressure system that will dig out these troughs, and any time that we see these reds and oranges pop up on our jet stream here, so there's the jet stream, right? Right there. We call this a jet streak, and especially whenever it's coming on this upper side, whenever it goes back up out of the trough, that's where we expect the storms to be. So this lines up perfectly with what we're expecting on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right? Right through the plains, through the Midwest, and then just out to the east a little bit here into like the Tennessee Valley. So are we going to see this continue as we head into April 4th, 5th, 6th, into next weekend? I'm not ruling that out. I think that's definitely possible. We will get a break as we head into this time next week. So we finally have a high pressure system coming in, giving us a little bit of a break, not for too long, but I do think that we're going to get a little bit of a break during the second week of April, maybe even into the third week there. But for your activity this week and maybe even into next weekend, we'll probably have storms just about every single day. Let's talk temperatures here. Of course, I told you earlier it was cooler across most of the U.S., still holding on to the 70s out on the East Coast, but wait until those storms come through and your temperatures are going to drop as well. By Tuesday, we see temperatures warming up a little bit, so it's your day to get outside, maybe a bit windy out there, but for the most part, you can get outside and enjoy that nice weather before that next round of storms comes through. Look at this, very well-defined low pressure system there, continuing to track to the east and up to the north as we head into Wednesday. Cooler into Rapid City, 35 in Minneapolis, 32 up in Bismarck. So we're still holding on to those temperatures just slightly below freezing for a good portion of the U.S. I mean, northern Kansas, Nebraska, even into Iowa, temperatures are threatening to get down below freezing for some of these places. So keep that jacket around. You may need that still as we head into the first few days of April. Other than that, temperatures are just about average as we head into the southern side of the U.S. Future wind gusts here, I told you that Tuesday could be a bit windy. I think that'll be mainly into the afternoon hours. You're going to see it pop up right there. This could increase the fire danger farther out to the west into western Oklahoma, Texas, southern Colorado, and New Mexico. And looking into that second week of April here, 5th through the 9th, things start to change. I told you that we're going to start to see this active pattern slow down a little bit, and that's exactly what we're seeing from those extended temperature outlooks. Every single day last week, I said it's likely to stay above average in terms of temperature, warmer than average. It looks like we could cool down just a little bit. Extended temperature outlook here is showing some cooler temperatures. We're still seeing a lot of moisture, especially into the southern portion of the U.S. in the extended rain outlook. I know that was a lot of information today, so make sure that if you have any questions, stick those questions in the comments section. I'm pretty good about going back after the forecast is over and replying to those comments, so stick those in the comments section, either on Facebook and YouTube. I know you can't comment on Twitter, so if you're on Twitter right now, switch over to Facebook and YouTube and you can comment from there. Either way, follow us on all of our platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn. And if you're interested in any of those hail, tornado, or wind maps, we have meteorologists in the office right now who are mapping those storms. We have meteorologists who are mapping storms 24/7. So give us a call to get set up with those maps at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. Head over to our website, hailtrace.com. All right, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back here, same time, same place for your forecast tomorrow.